Now I am. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roleplay Give. We are a virtual tabletop role-playing community that is today playing Call of Cthulhu, the classic uh, campaign Mass of Nyarlathotep, uh, which is a giant-ass book. Actually, it's 2.5 giant-ass books. And we are in currently chapter 4, um, which at this point, actually, at this exact point, the chapter numbers become completely useless, um, because the party now knows enough where they could go anywhere, and the chapter numbers don't really have any ordinal value. Uh, where you go next, it's a sandbox from here on out. So we are just in a fun spot, I think. Where we last left off, um, well, it's just sort of a familiar scene. They're in a quasi-industrial building, uh, and people have been murdered. That feels somewhat like you're coming home. Um, but no, it's only your second time. It's not like you guys go to. Oh no, that's not true, because the cult in New York was quasi-industrial as well, and you killed a bunch of people in there too. So um,
Hey, we only killed one.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, one
The
person
others
died.
were already dead.
But did you also set that building on fire?
Yes.
Okay. Now you haven't done that yet, so there's a chance for you guys to shake things up today. But all right, where we left off is we're at Henson Manufacturing in the city of Darby, uh, and uh, they have been led here by a bunch of clues that the cult that they are tracking, that they believe is well, they know for a fact is involved in all kinds of dark and arcane secrets and conspiracies. Uh, that they are building something in Henson Manufacturing, and there is some connection with it being shipped out elsewhere. They know that sort of the linchpin of this is the Penhew Foundation, which operates out of London, run by a man named Edward Gavigan. They've spent the last, I think it's 3 weeks now, might be four, in England, um, and have come to this place to determine what is being made here and what mysteries they can uncover getting through the manufacturing. They tried to enter surreptitiously, but that did not work out. And as such, our four investigators are in the following situations. And I'm going to go to our map screen in order to illustrate a little bit here. So let's see. Can I move this over a little bit? I think I can by doing. I can't get Harmon in this picture. He's behind. He's behind my overlay. Um, so if you see a little tiny green circle there on the left, that's Harmon.
Well, I ran far away.
It's true. He
So
get
far
far
away.
away. He couldn't get away. Uh, but I would love it if Harmon's hair looked like that when he ran back.
We're several years away from
The
that.
flock of seagulls look. But Harmon uh, tried to draw off and succeeded in drawing off one of the guards to the farmhouse to the west. Uh, he, however, was substantively faster than this guard and had to engage in a number of like re-upping, keeping the guy's attention on him, which worked out because Harmon didn't get captured, but also now the guard is heading back to the plant. Uh, Daisy has. They're not driving a lorry, but that car is fun to have. Uh, Daisy is inside their automobile and has started the automobile, but has not turned on the lights, and is basically prepping the getaway car. Uh, Meanwhile, Clyde and Purdy, who had tried to get over the wall and did not succeed on their climb checks, then went around and I believe they just straight up bludgeoned to death one guard and knifed another one. I think that's how that happened. I think Purdy crushed a guy's skull with brass knuckles, and I think Clyde just pretty much shivved a guy.
As I recall, he just stabbed him in the throat.
Yeah, that's right.
Just
Like immediately, just one shot, stabbed in the throat, dead guy.
Yeah, because it was an extreme success, wasn't it? Like,
Sure was.
and so the way I sort of think of that is Clyde is a World War I vet and just went into trench warfare, like the bayonet right through the throat kind of work. Training took over. And so, as the players had said, as I was doing the wrap-up last, Purdy was dragging the body towards the body of the guard he had killed towards the main building. Clyde had taken the coat off the guard, was trying to get some of the blood off of the road, and also then pulling the guard into the compound as well. The third guard, Harmon threw a rock at, but unfortunately fell very, very short of where the guard was, and the guard did not succeed on a listen check, didn't hear it, and is still sort of brisk walking back towards Henson Manufacturing. Have I missed any critical details? Otherwise, I'm going to just have you guys, in whatever order you would like, introduce your characters and then say what your next thing you're doing is. Okay. Who would like to go first?
Well, I will because I'll probably have the least impact on the scene that's about to happen. I'm Ed, Scenario Vulpes in the Twitch chat. I'm playing Harmon Farwell, Professor of Archaeology from the University of Chicago, currently traveling under the pseudonym of Robert Hollister, or Holly, to his friends. I have, as Paul said, tried to distract a guard by running off from the place. Discovered that some English farms do not have dogs, and also remembered that I have spent all my time in books and can't throw very well, so I could not hit a guard with a rock. So now Harmon is mostly cursing and trying to stir up his courage to get anywhere near the place again after having been chased by an armed guard.
Wait, you're trying to get back to what place? I missed that.
I am not trying to go anywhere. I'm
okay.
trying to build up the courage to think about going back there.
Tomorrow we plan. Okay, sounds good. Who's next?
can go next because I'm kind of coming in from the other direction. I'm Robin. I'm playing Daisy Ransom, who goes by Teddy right now, and she's from England and was a nurse during the Great War, and now is kind of cleanup crew for a bunch of murder hobo fire starters. So they don't abuse animals though, so they might not be psychopaths. I don't know.
Fire starter.
I don't know about the bedwetting piece either. Well, anyway, so I'm coming back. If you're a bedwetter, fire starter, and abuse animals, you're going to be the psychopathic triad or whatever. Anyway.
I just thought I thought we were going on Prodigy lyrics.
No, I'm just rambling. I am currently in a vehicle, and I am slowly kind of inching back towards Hensing Manufacturing. I don't drive very often, trying to do it quietly, because I know my boys will need to get out and make a quick exit. So that's what I'm doing.
Got it. Who's going next?
Guess I'll go.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Daw. I'm playing Clyde, going by Henry at this point, and after he unfortunately shanked a poor guy very effectively, way more effectively than I thought was going to happen, just trying to clean up his mess and start dragging it back towards the building to get out of sight and go and talking to Purdy. Purdy, should we get the others, or you think you and I should do this by ourselves? And it's just dragging his way through.
Bert.
Yeah. Corey. I'm playing Puritan Bottoms, who goes by Gid in this disguise. Purdy's a very big and misunderstood man. Really, he has a lot of hobbies like driving
Or
and
outside.
spooky sounds and aquatic cryptozoology. But what everyone else sees is just this big guy who just happens to, whenever he just tries to, touch someone, he hurts them. So,
Purdy's got
Lenny.
unplugged depths.
yeah, I think quite honestly, I don't think Purdy's going to answer him. Purdy would not in any way do anything to encourage the two of them to come back, in the sense of he already thinks they're in enough trouble, and if two of them got away, he'd rather. Why do I have new buttons that say "Summon Cthulhu"?
Whoa.
Wait, what?
What?
What does
I swear to
mean?
God,
Don't do it. Don't push the button.
I
You
have a
take-
token button that says
You
"Summon
take
Cthulhu."
a screenshot of that right now. I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
see this.
I'll push it. Let's find out what
No,
happens.
don't push the button, you guys.
I don't remember writing that. Did you put that in there, Corey?
If I did, it was a very long time ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I see that it's on there. I didn't write
What-
that macro.
I hope it just creates your drawing of Cthulhu that you did in one of our early sessions.
I
Just
really
puts
hope
it on
so.
the screen.
Yeah.
Fun.
So anyway, so yeah, I don't think he's not going to expose them to more danger, right? And so I really wonder what the heck that was. And so yeah, I think he sort of gives Clyde a little bit of a glare, like that we just have to get this done with and get out of here. And dilly dallying and jab gone is not going to help us.
And other 1920s idioms for talking when
Yeah.
appropriate. Okay, so let me set the scene as it is right now. You have gotten to the front door of the main of the workshop, the main workshop building. The doors appear to be shut and locked, and the guard who is coming from the west, moving away from Harmon, is sort of calling out names, and I don't remember the names I gave the guards. So I'm either going to come up with new ones, or if Dar Robin wrote it down, I'll use whatever they've got. But he's just going to be
Reese is dead.
Yeah, I got Reese. That's the only one I got.
Reese
Yeah.
is dead. Okay.
We did not get the other name.
All
I
right.
don't know. Miller. Miller. I'll catch up with Miller. I don't know if Miller is alive or dead,
I
but I
think
got the name Miller and I got the name Reese.
I think Miller is alive. Reese is dead.
And then I have a Sergeant Frank Marshall written down, but I don't know if that was just the, I don't know if that was the guard's name or if that was just the stat block you pulled up.
Sergeant actually it should be SHT.
I'm glad we have a proper British spelling for high life.
And SHT is character sheet.
Oh, sheet. Okay.
because
I read it as Sergeant.
Okay, yeah, it's my character sheet thing, so I don't confuse it with the pure portrait asset that I have for them as well. And I had just actually rolled for Frank Miller because I was testing rolls on this to make sure it showed up in the chat box correctly.
So what were their names again? Sorry.
Their names were Miller is the one who is still alive.
Yep, got
Reese is dead, and the last one is Steve.
Okay, got it. Thanks. Just
No, never mind. I want his name to be Reg. It's going to be Reese and Reg, and they're both deed. All right. So, Daisy, even over, because the car's not making a boat ton of noise, although it is, they didn't have like to my knowledge, the 1920s cars, they didn't like take sound dampening into account.
I don't think
like,
they had mufflers.
even not even mufflers. I mean, like now like they actually put in like acoustic dampening into the hood and so that your car doesn't have a lot of car noise. And I don't think they did that back in the 20s.
No, this is the pop, pop, pop sound of that old motor.
But you can still hear the person yelling out for Reese and Reg. Definitely Clyde and Purdy can, and of course, because he's closest to Harmon, can hear that. So, what do you guys want to do as he's moving back east towards? Oh, I see their names are Reese's Piece. Nice. Yeah. And Reg size.
Miller High Life.
What?
Yeah.
I was helping you flesh out the world.
That's good. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the assist. So
This.
it's on the. Corey's been typing it right onto the map.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't pull any punches.
gotcha. I see it.
Oh.
So
Okay, perfect. Except I believe Miller's still alive. So
For long.
yeah.
not for long.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, good. Add lilies. Nice touch.
He's pushing daisies, mister. All right. So, somebody was going to say something, and then we went on. We started fucking around.
But not finding out.
We're not finding out. All right. So, what would you like to find out?
I mean, and I apologize because I was probably, doing something very intellectual. Where exactly are we bringing the bottles? The bodies? Not the bottles.
Probably behind this building would probably be a good spot.
All the way over there.
I mean, the man door is right here, and so is the gate. And this is kind of a spot that I haven't really seen anyone walk to. Being the people who did walk there are now dead, so.
But these walls are they're only like pretty sized, right?
They're like 10 feet.
Yeah.
That's why we couldn't hop over it.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking, when the guard comes back around, either you try and distract him, and then I sneak up behind him and slit his throat while he's not looking at me, or we can do this a number of different ways. That's just option number one, I'd say.
Or we could just drag them inside that building, the one we're trying to get to.
But what about the other guard?
I'm missing where the other guard is, I think.
Miller, the one who's calling it. Like, the one over there.
Over here?
The one who's on his way back that
he's
Harmon was leading off.
He's coming from here.
The door's over here, right?
To this building, yes, but he's outside the building right now, and he's coming back into the building.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's outside the walls of the compound, or he's outside the...
Outside the walls of the compound, coming back to the compound.
Here, I'll do a little Miller painting here. Miller is coming. Whoa, why am I not painting? Miller is coming this way, and
he's back in the high life again.
He's hoping, that the guard that he's covering a shift for Steve Winwood, and is unable to. All right, he's coming in this way. He's not there yet. He's still off screen, but this is what Clyde is anticipating, is him coming from out into here. And obviously your tokens are enormous to scale here right now. So.
And it was the yellow line you just drew, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Correct. So that's what I'm saying. Like, why don't we run inside instead of running?
Well, you have the door lock situation.
Yeah, but I mean,
what I'm anticipating is he's going to You know, the door is locked, he did say, into the building. What if he had a key on him?
And the chances of seeing Miller's or Reese's lifeblood that spilled out of his throat all over the road, is pretty low.
Also, I mean, if he's walking this way, then we could quietly drag him. Sorry, I am just hovering my mouse like you know what I'm doing. What if we need a pretty blood red? Okay.
I think we need
What
to
if we go
battle
this way,
a lot of drawing.
right? And what if we just toss his body? Like once we hear him cross, we just toss his body over the wall.
To what end?
So
To
he doesn't
scare
see
him.
the body. No, so he doesn't see the body.
Attention the combat. Attention the combat.
Hold on.
This is the weekly test of the emergency notification system. You will hear 3 alarm activations.
We will get back to that after this break from emergency notification systems. So, what? Let's just check in with Daisy then. Daisy, you hear the guard is approaching where you know your friends are at in the, I guess, compound.
Is he running down the road, or
He's
what
not
is he?
running. He's guard walking. Maybe even cursing a little bit too because he couldn't find the guy, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need some help finding this guy." Sort of.
Well, let's see. I don't want him to see me, but I don't want him to get to my friends either.
Right.
Or Purdy has set a precedent of a way you could handle that from your current seated position.
I just don't know as if I'd be very good at that. And I don't know as if Daisy would.
You wouldn't even need to get out of your chair.
I know, but I took an oath of sorts.
That's
This
true.
just doesn't
That
feel
is
right.
true.
So, yeah, I know it did occur to me.
That's the reason it's Hippocratic.
So, is the gate that's big enough for the truck? Well, I'm too far away to see.
But you would have seen it earlier, right? You have,
No, I ran around the back, so I don't know what's going on in the front.
I think you guys knew about the gate though. Like I would say that you would be aware of that gate.
Right. I just don't know if it's open or closed. And I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't know if it's open or closed now. Correct.
Right.
No. Yeah, it was closed last you saw. I mean, it's possible you think that you could drive through that gate, Purdy style.
Yeah. I think I might be more likely to try to do that than try to run over a guard. So I will see if I can get to the compound before the guard does. And
Lights off.
Lights off.
Okay,
hoping that maybe the gate's open. But
we are a little bit
it might not be.
chitty bang bang style noise. So I'm gonna give him a listen check, and it will be a normal listen check. It will not be hard for him to, even with your lights off.
Right. I mean,
what else you gonna do?
I'm trying to get there before him, so I figure I'm faster, and even if he hears me,
okay,
it's a car, and I'm on a road, so
you back the car out, you pull forward. Now you're going by moonlight, so I'm not trying to make it sound more dramatic than it is. It's just like you're not able to see clearly easily. You have to get all the way up to the to see that the doors are in fact open, and so because I think wait, I don't know. Did you guys shut the doors behind you when you pulled the bodies in?
I'll be too busy pulling a body to close the door.
Yeah. I didn't hear you guys say you closed the door behind you, so unless somebody wants to change that.
My apologies.
You're fine.
So
now there's a car in there. I'm going to give this guy a straight listen check, and I might give him a bonus die because it's a car in the 20. It's not oh, he made it. Okay, so he hears the car pulling in. Hey, oi!
Now I'm gonna hide behind the gate door if I can.
Now he's running.
Wait, where are we? Are we inside that building? Outside that building?
You're outside the building, inside the compound. So this outer
Got it, okay.
outer bit is the wall. Daisy's just pulled into the compound with the truck. Well, it's not a truck. I don't have a fun 1920s vehicle. I'll have to come up with one because if you
Model
guys kill anything with the Model T, then I'll come up with a token for it just because it'll be a nice. But you've killed stuff with the truck and it's fun. Okay, so you pull the Model T in. Harmon, you're still farther back. You were deciding what to do. I'm gonna check in with you quick. As you hear him yell and running forward.
I see Harmon sort of like ducked down in a ditch, sort of watching, and then cursing and slowly following after the guard.
Okay.
But keeping a distance because I'm terrified.
Got it. All right. Harmon, make a spot hidden check.
All right.
Be able to keep.
I didn't even have my character sheet out yet, so we'll have to get there.
Okay.
As far as pulling the car in, I don't really want to pull in. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to be trapped in here. So I'm more likely to want to just stay in the pretty close to the doorway. So I moved my token there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So you've now blocked sort of the entrance with the vehicle. Harmon, you see the guard sort of by the light of maybe he's backlit by the moon a little bit. Draws a revolver.
It's illegal though. You can't do that.
Yes, these guards are extremely moral. Now he pulls out yep, it is illegal. So you would be aware that this person is illegally carrying a firearm. And is moving into position. What are you two guys doing? You've got two bodies with you outside of the door. The door is locked. What do you wish to do?
What's the door made of?
Door is sort of a oak brick building, wood frame, but it's stout frame. This is not going to easily break down.
I'm going for
But
it.
it can.
I'm gonna at least give it one try.
Okay.
While he's going about doing that, I'm getting to a position where wherever he's making noise, I'm on the opposite side. So if the guy were to come in and look, he would look towards the noise and not towards me.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It does. I'll have to sort of think about how that would. So this is the front door here.
Mm-hmm.
If Birdie's right here, pounding on the door, you want to be sort of.
The goal is to get behind the guard and slit his throat. There's no means I'm sparing this man from life.
Okay, so he will have to walk. So you see the Model T is blocking the main entrance. The guy can stop here where Daisy's at, or he can go around to the small door over here.
How
He is
far of a
probably
distance
going to stop at the car.
Can I duck myself behind this building's corner right here?
Sure.
Excellent.
And I'm going to continue to creep up after him, although I'm more worried now than I was before.
Got it.
I'm real conflicted.
Purdy, give me a strength check. Needing more of extreme success to knock this door down, but you rattle the door pretty good.
Oh, I'll push it. I assume I can push it.
You
Great.
can. What will be the? I mean, you guys have got everything's attention in the area. I don't know how to make this
I could
worse.
injure myself.
That's yep. Good injure yourself. Okay. Yep.
Oh.
Oh,
So what's pushing? What does it technically mean when you push? When do I fail?
You would have had to have failed.
Do I completely fail? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just don't open the door, basically.
The door does not open. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not hurt. Got it.
Yep. Yeah,
Why?
that was a real solid bet on your point with having a 90. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that will take up some of my time.
Yep. Okay. The guard. So now, Daisy, you can see the guard approaching. He can see the car, and hey, you in the automobile. Clear out, and then he's going to sort of stand. I need a token now for him. Call it Cthulhu. Nyarlathotep. NPCs. I don't have a lot of tokens built. I think I'll just use Captain Robson.
Oh, that is a man
I will.
that I would not trust.
We did trust him.
No, we did not.
Wasn't Robson the good guy?
No, he was.
No,
He was
No,
the.
Robson was the bad guy. Okay.
Poole
yeah.
was the guy we trusted.
Poole,
Robson
yeah,
is
yep.
Robson's that crooked
He lost
cop
the
from Harlem.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. I had him backwards in my head.
Okay, so
All right, so he's coming. He's running this way with a gun.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna back out and I'll go after him.
Okay.
Because at this point he's like threatening me.
Yes, he is. He
Guard,
is.
so.
Give me a drive auto check.
And can I flash the lights on to try to like blind him? You know, as I.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I don't think.
Would that give like a bonus die on the trying to hit him with a car?
Nope. I would have given him a penalty die on trying to dodge, but Daisy's sort of throws it reverse and has to get the gears back in line. She's not a stunt
Not an
driver,
excellent driver. Nope.
and so now she's facing him with the lights on him. So he's gonna sort of move and press himself against the wall on the exterior of the wall here, just because he's not sure you're not going to try to run him over. And he's going to train the firearm on you and say, hold it right there. Hold it right
I'm
there.
not stopping. I'm just driving, right? So, like, I'm not going to be a stationary target with him. If he dodges out of the way, I'll circle around and I'm just going to keep pretty much driving just to distract him.
Okay. He is, if you drive off, he's going to fire. So at a moving target, he gets, we need to bring out the firearm rules.
And I'll
Let's
kind of
do it.
squish down because I don't want to be just sitting up. So I'll squish down in the car, turn the lights on, and try to drive at him. Not very successfully.
Got it. Dov, you got them open, or I can check.
All right, let's see. Normal shots at a regular range. Hard. Nope, not that. Fast moving target, 8+ movement. He receives 1 penalty die.
Okay.
Would you say that she would have partial cover in any means?
Yep, because she just said she's ducking down, plus the automobile itself would give her the partial cover.
There's another penalty die. Are you
man.
considered a small target, Daisy?
No.
Is your build -2?
No, I don't think I'm a small target. My build -2. Where would that? Where would I
It's
see
your
that?
build.
My
And
size, I don't know where build.
So, probably in a moving vehicle with partial cover, partial concealment, it will be 2 penalty
is under
dice.
combat. Build is under combat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's 0.
Right.
It just says 0.
Would you say that the gunman was aiming beforehand?
Yes.
Then he would have a bonus die, which will cancel out one of the penalties.
Okay.
I don't consider this point blank.
No, it's not point blank.
So it would be a firearms check with 1 penalty die is what I'm seeing.
Firearms check. Okay, I did not build these guys with guns. They're supposed to have them. I just did not build them correctly.
So the 2 guys that you've offed have revolvers, Clyde. Just so you're aware.
They do. Yeah.
Here's the thing. You know, typically in the infantry, they don't teach you with pistols unless you're an officer.
I bet you
So-
can figure it out.
If I put two pistols together, I technically have a very long pistol that's going to shoot the other pistol. We'll figure it out.
All right. Fire a pistol. I don't know what kind it is. It's I gotta look here. What these guys have. I built out thug and I'm like close enough. I'll just add a 45 to him. Well, I'll actually tell you're the historical firearm expert. What would they like?
Give him. He's English. Give him like a Weebly.
I don't know if they have that in the compendium. I will
It just be a revolver.
revolver. A 32, 38, 41, 45. Colt single
32.
action army revolver.
That sounds too American for him.
Okay, a 32.
That
Got
sounds
it.
wonderful.
Okay. And then he has firearms. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to make,
No, we'd have to do this at some point.
We're gonna have to figure this out very shortly.
Yeah.
So.
well, I should have had it prepped, but okay, combat. And then nope, I don't want to do that. I just combat ability. No. Okay, I just keep adding combat abilities and not actually putting in what it does. No, that's not a combat ability. I need an attack. Okay. There we go. 30.32 revolver. And it says damage 1d8. If it hits. And no bonus. Alternative damage death. Impale weapon. Range is 15 yards, which in feet is 45 feet. And ammo should be 6 for this. And malfunction at a 97. And I think that's it, right? Am I missing anything that... I think that's it. Okay. So... he does have a fire... He has a handgun skill, so that should already be in there. And here we go. Sorry for the delay. What did I do wrong? Fire opposed. It's saying like I've got.
Want to roll 1d100?
Yeah, screw it. Let's just play it that way. I just don't know what will hit. Like. Oh, I got it. I know what happened. Can't have a 0 in a certain place there. Nope, that's still not the problem. I'll roll a 1d100. You guys can help me figure out whether or not that would hit. Just so we can keep the game moving along here. It just bothers me that... Oh, target. One more try, and then... Oh, no!
Good thing there's a penalty die.
Oh, that's right, there's a penalty die. What does that make it?
Makes it
21.
21.
Which means it's not a hit, because I need a 20.
Yep.
You
Oh,
just spared our nurse from an instant.
that would have been instant death. Yeah, she would have just been shot. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay.
So narratively, I think that was like the moment that Harmon yelled at him again.
Yeah. I was going to say, if that would have happened, it would have been meant to be. Because if he's able to hit a moving vehicle with the lights in his eyes and shoot to kill, then he deserved the death. Because honestly, that would have been a miraculous hit.
Daisy, do you have anything metal that would have stopped the bullet?
Oh yeah, like do you have? Oh, that's fun.
Like
Your
so like
dead
that
husband's lighter in your pocket. That was your other character that had the dead husband.
That was
Yeah, I
yeah.
was
This
gonna
is
say,
this is the
this is
brother, right? The
necessary.
brother.
She
Because
has
otherwise-
Jack Hardcastle's dog tags that she wears. So
I don't know if that was
You
not, but when it went
I
through
know
but it goes
that's
through
the
the windshield. So
only
let's say the windshield explodes,
okay.
and then it hits the dog tag or whatever, and 'cause I don't think that would still stop a bullet. But
Who
Probably
knows?
not.
It can narratively. That's fine.
Okay.
It just slightly cuts off a bit of her hair.
yeah. Okay, you guys hear the shots. Shots fired. What's going on? Now we'll pick the narrative back up in pace here. Sorry, everybody.
All right. Well, that changes things. I thought we were going to try and lure him in while I get behind him. That's a little different.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay crouched and trying to be kind of hidden, but head toward him.
All right, I am going to put the initiative up. It goes by your, if you just hit on your sheet, if you put your initiative order in there, it should, put you right in. There's a button for initiative.
Where is it?
It is in the combat. Yeah. I can never find it either.
Also, if you highlight your token,
Dexterity to turn tracker. Oh, if you
Yeah,
highlight
you
your
have to
token.
highlight your token. Yeah, and then do it.
I don't have a summon Cthulhu
Oh,
button, but I
I-
do have initiative.
I gave the car an initiative.
Well, that was nice of you. It can go without me, I guess.
One of those cartoons where the car drives off but leaves the driver just floating in air.
I've got this, Michael. Thanks, kid.
It wants to live, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's like Christine.
I was gonna say hi, Christine. Right, highlight my token. There we go. Okay, so are we looking for harm yet? I think.
Oh, I rolled it, but it didn't go in. I mean, it's not rolled.
There it
so
is. There it is.
I didn't click my token first.
I see. Yeah, neither had I originally.
Rookie mistake.
All right, so we've got the henchman. I think we go by dex, and we both have the same dex. So, henchman just fired. We're gonna just say that was his turn. Clyde, you're up.
How long would it take me to rush him?
You can move. What do they say? It's like 3 yards easily. And
I am a bit away.
so looking at this scale here, I don't think the arrows are to scale, but the scale up underneath the Henson Manufacturing tag there, you are about 45 yards away, roughly.
Yep, so I could probably get up to the door here safely.
Yeah, I think.
I guess he's gonna start skulking his way forward, knife drawn and just remaining quiet. Hopefully he can surprise this guy if he gets too close.
I think with shots firing, engine revving, Daisy said she wasn't slowing down. Glasses gone by. I don't think you have any. I don't need a roll for stealth. You just moving forward.
Moving forward then.
Purdy.
Purdy is gonna. He sees Clyde moving that way.
Doesn't the guy go before Purdy?
He did.
He
He
went
shot.
first.
He went.
He
Okay.
shot. I
Return.
decided.
I got you.
Yep.
I got you. I missed that.
What and I apologize. I think the alarm
Right.
started to go off around this time. Did we actually go through pockets looking for keys or no?
I did not. I heard that as an idea. I did not hear it as
Okay.
the action.
I'm gonna look through for keys of the guy I am dragging.
Okay. I'm not even gonna ask for a roll. You can just quickly go through there. They're kept where you would expect them to be kept, and you find the keys.
Okay, I'm
You
gonna
also
try to unlock.
You also find a firearm.
Okay, I'll grab the firearm. I'll open the door, or try to open the door.
Perfect. Sorry, I have dog maintenance duties going on. There's no real time action in Call of Cthulhu. I'm going to say that that's definitely, you can start fumbling with the keys, getting the door unlocked. And all of that all in one go. Okay. Daisy, you've just been shot at, almost as if some sort of spirit protected you.
Yeah, that was quite a stroke of luck. So am I where my did I get past him or am I coming at him right
The way
now?
I had said with the failed drive check, was that you were putting it in gear as he shot. So now
Okay.
you're driving right at him. You're getting it gear because you're not actually trying to do anything like a maneuver right now. You're just driving at him.
Okay. Well, if I'm facing him and I'm in gear, I'm charging him with the car.
Okay. Is that still a drive auto as an attack? I think. Probably.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
In my combat.
I was gonna say I don't think it's like like a brawl skill. I think it's still trying to hit him. So drive auto. I will say. I'll give you a bonus die on it. Just because I don't think it's that hard to drive a car at somebody.
Oh gosh, I did it.
Okay, now he does get a chance to dodge.
I'll see what the bonus die does. Okay.
Nice.
I had a success on driving, guys.
Yeah,
Put a check
put
mark
the
on
check
it.
in that box. Two people who can commit vehicular manslaughter. So he will
Might
take.
not die.
He
I'm just
might
trying
not.
to.
He might not because he's got a chance to dodge, and all he has to do is have a success on his dodge. So, his dodge is not great.
Did you shoot at me? This is what you get.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is going to be catastrophic amounts of damage. He is against the wall, so you are driving the vehicle.
Ooh,
Boom,
I'm sorry,
into
guys.
the wall.
I'll try to angle it so it just scratches the wall.
No, the paint job. We're gonna have to talk to the renters about that.
Well, the windshield's already shot out.
All right. From behind Harmon, I'm just going to add this into some flavor right now. A dog begins to bark in the distance from the gunshots. And now there's.
Where were you when I needed you?
You think it's funny now, but wait till spooky sounds start emerging from behind curtains. Then, you won't think it's funny then.
I'm not gonna even muck about. I'm gonna say you going 25 miles an hour at somebody into a wall. I think he's dead.
So Harmon was up after that. Wasn't really looking at what happened to him. Mostly was looking at if the gun fell out of his hand, I'm going to get it so he can't use it again.
Okay. I'm going to place you right around here at this point. And I will now take us out of turn order again because there's no more adversaries. Now you have a dead guard here. The old brickworks, you guys know because you sat in it, is abandoned. The old barn, Clyde spent time in for a week, knows it's abandoned. Harmon is aware, though, that to the west, there is a farmhouse, and
a goddamn sleepy dog.
And then the dog that just woke up, and if Harmon looks over his shoulders, he starts hearing farmer. Not you don't hear the farmer. You see a light go on in the farmhouse. They're early to sleep people because we said this was like only like maybe 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night. I think. So
a lantern's been lit. So I'm gonna run over and make sure I've got this guard's firearm.
He is
And
expiring.
then I realize,
as
then
you
I
put it.
look and realize what condition he's in.
Oh,
Oh, uh,
Can I jump out of the vehicle and
Yeah.
see if I can stabilize him?
for sure. For sure you can. I should roll damage, honestly. I just don't know what it would be. Like, they'd be hit with a car.
I think there's actually a thing for that in the book.
Oh, I just got the book out.
I mean, I don't mind leaving him pinned in some ways so he
Oh,
can't
yeah.
hurt me, but I want to see if he's alive.
I should also find out if you've damaged the car. Like, can the car move?
Yeah.
I think cards have like a damage threshold whole thing. There's like a whole car fight mechanic too.
Okay. So,
Would you say would this be considered deadly as in being hit by a car at 30 miles per hour?
I was going to say it was probably more like 20.
You can have it severe if you'd like.
Okay.
So there may be a chance he lived.
Okay.
So
Let's do
Chapter 6, Table 3, other forms of damage.
chapter
Page
6.
124.
All right. It was actually at page 121, so here we go. Severe. Likely to cause a major wound. 1 or 2 occurrences would render a person unconscious or dead. All right. 1d10 points of damage. Would you like to do the damage, David?
Do it.
The
Kill.
demo.
You know you want
Alright.
to.
Just trying to remember how to do it in Roll20. Okay, it's off to the side. 1d10.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh.
Daisy.
that's severe.
It wasn't a 10.
I love the judgment.
Oh.
Where's my thug? Here we go.
Great. I'll have somebody else haunting me from the other side.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Oh.
He had 6 hit points. So
Oh.
he won't haunt you from the other side though, because his soul's already forfeit.
Oh gosh.
where is now car damage? That would be under. Cars. Where's it? Automobile in here? Nope, it's not in the index.
Let's see. I'm on a page called driver damage. Nope, that's just for the driver.
Well, it helps that he looks like Robson. I don't feel quite as bad.
Vehicular Collisions. I found it. It's on page 145.
Okay. 145 vehicular collision. Oh yeah, it would be in. Is it Jace's? Yep.
It is.
Okay. Vehicular collision. When a skilled keeper must consider the cause and likely damage, I would say if you're driving into a brick wall. If unsure, simply use the defaults of minor incident for a regular difficulty. Moderate. Okay. The damage should also be rolled for each occupant of the vehicle involved in the collision, substituting hit points in place of build. Thus, a car that is in a moderate incident suffers 1d6 build damage, and each occupant of the car suffers 1d6 points of damage. Most collisions should result in a delay as the vehicle skids or loses speed. That's for chase. But, okay. I would say it's not quite moderate, though. Is there a slight vehicular condition? Minor incident. That's what we're going to use. Although it killed somebody, so maybe moderate.
It wasn't minor for him. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Glancing blow from another vehicle, grazing a lamppost, hitting a post, colliding with a person or smaller sized creature. But this, I think, hitting a cow or large deer, collision with a heavy motorbike or economy car. I also enjoy hit by a meteor. Is something
Maybe we need
Hit
to roll
by a
2
meteor?
minor events because
right.
you
It's
had the glancing on the wall, but also hitting the person-sized object.
I think that's fair. So we'll do 1d3 plus 1 for hitting the person. So the car takes 3 points of damage, and 1d3 for hitting the wall. And I'm not going to give Daisy the damage from hitting the person, but and then you roll damage to Daisy on hitting the wall. 3 points, hit points.
Okay.
The car. How many build does that? We have to look up what the car's build is. Vehicle reference charts. Car, we would say standard. Its build is 5.
Oof.
The
So
car,
it's toast.
the car's toast. um, you maybe cracked the front axle or something, but it's not gonna move.
All right. Well, I guess he's staying pinned against the wall then. His
Ooh,
corpse.
okay. What do you guys want to do now with this information? Now that we have sorted out the mechanics and the rules here, this is the situation we're in. So, Harmon, as you come there, this guy is pinned to the wall. His gun has fallen out of his hand. You pick up the revolver. Daisy goes out to stabilize him. She looks like she's got like maybe hurt an arm, or like is the
I probably
impact
hit my head on the steering wheel because
right?
I was crouched down
Yeah,
as I was driving.
maybe a small cut and a contusion on the forehead. And
As a person who had this sort of accident, I would say broken thumbs are very likable because you had them on the steering wheel,
oh,
and that's where you're going to feel all of the shock.
Ouch.
ooh, okay, that's fun. So Daisy has
Or brain too, but, yeah.
broken thumbs and maybe a little bit of a cut on her forehead, and but all 3 guards are dead. Harmon is aware that people have heard the noises of what's going on in Henson Manufacturing. What do you guys want to do?
Purdy, as soon as he got the door open, Purdy would have.
That old farmer's dog finally woke up.
Purdy's got the door open. Purdy goes in. Clyde, what are you doing? And Harmon has said the farmer's dog's woken up, and Daisy is probably a little stunned, but you can do however you want to play that, Robin.
Well, yeah, I'll let them do because they haven't had a chance to
Right.
do much. You're right. So I think I already said what I was doing.
You got it.
And to be clear, Purdy's not entirely sure there's not someone in the building.
No,
Like, so that's that. Purdy is going in specifically to like. I don't think he's super curious about what's in the building, except is there anyone who's going to come out of it. So that's what he's looking for when he walks in.
Okay. I'm going to check in with Clyde, then we'll go right to Purdy.
Sorry, I was on a phone call. What did I miss?
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Your car's broke. You know that, right?
Yeah, I can fix it. It'll be fixed. Don't worry. Got it. Good.
Maybe.
Looks like it has a cracked axle. Daisy has taken a bit of harm, and Harmon has reported in that the farmhouse to the west has awoken. The dog's awoken, and there's
The light's on.
the lights on.
The lantern's been lit.
You do see, because the car's no longer blocking your view, you do see Purdy has opened the door and gone into the workshop.
Purdy, all of us at once, please. And he's gonna try and solve the current.
You're 40 yards. You'd have to shout that.
Well, yeah, true. Purdy, hold up. And I guess what my goal is now, probably help out with the car situation.
Okay.
Because there is a body there.
Yep.
Get the body out of the way, and then hopefully start to make it look like I'm trying to fix the car.
So you guys can roll the car back. Like, you can put it out of gear. Like, the engine actually still works. It's the axle is broken. So.
Well, can I turn it off so it's not making noise?
Yes. Car's off. I'm now going to move over to Purdy quick while you guys think about what you want to do out there. You can start trying to move the car back or off of him. It moves with some difficulty because the axle's broken.
I'll help. I'll assist with that. So we've got 2 of us pushing.
My thumbs are broken, so I can't do that.
Yeah, probably not.
Not going to call for a roll. You guys are able to do that. All right. I believe. It's probably all dark. Now there should be some light, right? Do you guys
Yep.
have to have a token on board? I can't remember rules here.
I can say it.
Okay.
So I assume.
All right. I'm not going to bring your token and just tell me what you're doing.
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at. Is it lit in here or is it?
No,
dark?
it is dark, but I don't want to get into
Okay.
too
So
much.
I'd probably walk in and just sort of stop and listen and see if I feel the sense that is there anyone else in here.
Give me a listen check. No, you don't hear any. There's a lot happening behind you.
But this is an electrified building.
It is, and
Mhm.
also I think I need to be clear here because the door is right here, so you're in a hallway. You don't see all of I'll redarken this. Just
wait. Am I? Is this oriented something different? Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, we had the door in the wrong place.
Got it. So the door is over near the east side of that.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, got it. No, that's fine.
So
fine. I'll pretend I don't know.
The clipping is such that we can't quite see it. Is the door here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me. I'll reveal.
I'm gonna fumble around for some light switches.
Okay.
And see if I can find any way to turn it on, but I'm not going to go. I'm assuming I'll eventually feel that door up ahead, and I will go through that.
You can find light switches if you want to turn them on. You can.
Yes.
Okay. So the lights go on, and you see all of the doors here.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to keep that bottom door open.
Clyde, you can see light spilling out now from the door. So not only did he just go on anyway, he turned the lights on. So that's what you see as you move forward. And I apologize, everybody, but I need to call at this time for our bio break. Sweet coffee goodness. But we'll be right back, y'all. And I will mute us. Why does all of your frames? Oh, I know why. Like, why do all of the frames for your characters have audio files? And it's because they have animations on them, which could have sound. It's just like, why? Why am I hearing about this? Okay. All right. Hopefully everything is a go for audio. I've made it kind of confusing for me to determine. So more work I guess I need to do on my stream, my OBS work. Okay. So where we left off before the break, Purdy had entered the workshop of Henson Manufacturing. Harmon and Clyde were pulling the vehicle away. It's broken, but Daisy turned it off. It's broken like Daisy's thumbs. And so she is checking out the body of the person that the car just ran into. I make it sound like Daisy wasn't driving. That Daisy just drove the car into.
Yeah. Car just hit him.
Yeah, the car was possessed by an evil spirit. But they are aware that there is some concern several yards to the west, and so by several yards I mean hundreds of yards, and so there's some activity going on there. Lights are on. There's you can't necessarily hear that far away, but there's perhaps people who are potentially could be phoning the police or could be themselves getting ready to
would they
investigate.
have phones?
Can certainly try, couldn't they?
I don't know if they'd have phones. If somebody wants to Google rural,
well, we had said like in New York you had to go to a place that had a phone.
That's true.
Like,
people weren't all wired up.
Rural England is less likely to have a phone than New York City.
You are right. So no phone. They are perhaps okay. I know what they're going to do, but right now you guys don't hear anything or see anything that would indicate that. So, all right. So you are getting the vehicle out of the road or off the person. Purdy has gone in, turned the lights on in the hallway, and sees a door directly in front of him and one to the left in front of him as well. I'm going to switch us to battle scenes so that people can see what I'm talking about.
So,
and I think I am going to drag a Purdy token on.
I'm trying to pretend like. So I'm going to draw something that I think Purdy would know.
Okay.
I think Purdy would know this is the edge of the building.
I have moved away briefly from that map so that I can grab your token and not have to resize it.
I can't draw on it.
Oh.
Or maybe I can, but I can't see what I'm drawing.
Let me go back over there with plopping tokens on here. Why did I only get Harmon? Well, you're going to be Harmon for this scene. All right. I can see what you draw.
Purdy, you're looking incredibly handsome.
Yeah.
So okay. So can I sense that this is the edge of the building?
I think that would make sense.
So in other words, what I'm really getting at, I can
aware.
sense that this is sort of trap space.
Yes, there's a room.
So I think that's what I'd open the door and look into first.
Okay. So let me make sure I know what that is. Okay. This one here, you want to go into this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like to the southeast of the building.
Okay, so you go there, you find the door, as you turn to the right, you see the door on your right. And that door is not locked, easily opens, and it looks like it's a break room. There's a sort of a break table there, a little sink, and a small cooktop.
I assume I'm kind of bloody.
You might be. I mean, you bashed in somebody and then you helped move I think you helped move dead people, so you would have some blood on you.
I'm gonna leave what's his name's gun in the sink.
Okay, your hands were on it.
I know, but are there fingerprints at this point?
Oh yeah, fingerprinting started in the 19th century. Yeah. I know that from reading Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah, but I don't care. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
Okay.
Purdy's not that smart.
I know that from reading.
I'm gonna. Yep. Purdy leaves the bloody gun in the sink.
Got it. All right. Bloody gun goes in the sink. You don't see anything else of real note in here?
And then he's gonna go to the north room, the north door.
Okay.
But I understand this will take time, so other people might be doing it. So.
Yes. So you know that Clyde is very well aware that Purdy has gone exploring.
There's no windows in this house, like in this building at all.
There are.
You probably said that.
There are, and right now you haven't run into any.
Okay, got it.
But there were windows. They were the same kind of windows I described in Chowdhury's warehouse, the up top sort of manufacturing windows, so they're up high.
Okay.
But you will have moonlight coming in the larger space that you know is to the west.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Going back to the other map, let me move you guys to that. What are you guys doing? And I guess wait, I still have a Herman token on this map, right? Yeah. Okay, good.
I was going to suggest. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Daisy.
I know I wasn't going to say what I was doing. I just noticed the player notes that we're tallying now the vehicular manslaughter. So I appreciate that. Yeah, keeping track for us.
Well,
Go
you
ahead.
each have 1 point.
Where is this at?
Under player notes on the page, somebody.
there
I think,
really?
I killed 3, didn't I?
You did.
Viciously pushed a vehicle onto.
Oh, so
two of
Purdy
them
has
and then smashed
Purdy has
another.
3 points and Daisy has 1.
Right. For vehicular manslaughters.
It's just
Oh,
by the end of the campaign, all we gotta do is
no.
just add the list of crimes we've committed throughout the entire game and how long we've been sentenced to jail for it, or the electric
We
chair,
don't
whatever
know that
comes
we've
first.
created any orphans because they might still have living mothers. Now, widows.
yeah, widow's maid.
Well,
We're
we're
definitely the
you might only
Widowmakers.
know that if you looked at their hands and if they were married. If they had rings
You
on them.
all are assuming that there are only opposite sex couples and that some of these guards were married. I'm just
That's
gonna
true.
throw that out there.
Yeah.
Miller
This is
and
the
Red might have had
1920s.
8 children together. You're absolutely right.
Not biologically.
That Daisy created entirely on her own.
That was all my fault.
Yeah.
Lots of
Oh,
assumptions
man.
have been made. Lots of assumptions.
I'm just anyway.
Miller was
Anyways.
a highly dedicated single father.
Father of 12 children.
Yep. 4 of whom were hidden in the backseat of the car. And watched the whole.
Wait a minute, I haven't done something that I think is kind of important.
How'd they get into
There we
our
go.
car?
There we go.
I don't know.
Little bastards.
Go ahead, Clyde. What are you doing? What are you doing, Clyde?
He's gonna recommend to Daisy. It's just, I know you've done this plenty of times before. I know you ain't gonna like it. Just give that thing a good old pull. And then we have a body. Get rid of,
What am I
don't we?
pulling, Clyde?
Your thumbs.
Your thumbs.
I thought, okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Just
I
grab me
wasn't
and put it
Also-
back into place. You're all good.
Also, dislocated versus broken. Pulling only works on one of those 2 things.
Yeah, these are not dislocated thumbs.
trust my own first aid skills, perhaps.
Also, Daisy can't grip her thumb because it's when the other one is broken
But
too.
you can kind of grip with your fist, right? Like,
You have 4 fingers.
You,
but I'm not going to do that. I want to.
You are currently without opposable thumbs.
you could do the pliers movement with your ring and middle finger. Oh God, it just sounds so awful. And if you were to try it, it would be really like because they're broken. You would just sort of like create a compound fracture.
Oh.
I don't do hand injuries.
Hartman syndrome. That's the forearm. Never mind.
Okay, so the car has been pulled into the road away from the wall. The body of I think we said his name was Reg. No, this one's Miller.
This was Miller.
Miller is you guys can pull that into the so the courtyard area of manufacturing. What do you wish to do with the vehicle?
Honestly, I think the best thing we could do is leave it here, and if somebody does come and investigate, I'm a bad driver and I crashed into the wall. I don't
If you
know.
want, I have some mechanical skills. I have fixed a car or two in my time. I could stay out here and just lead away that lovely fellow with the lantern coming down toward us and say, I got it under control.
Well, hey, we give that a try, but he certainly heard gunshots as well.
Cars make very strange noises. Maybe it was, called like
A backfire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Backfire is what caused it to crash into the wall, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you would know.
Okay.
Well, I'll leave you to that then, and we'll get inside and follow Pretty, I suppose.
Oh, if you need it, Clyde's just gonna start doing his getting ready to do some mechanical work. If you need it, there's some guns in the corpses of the other guards.
Right, I've got one. Did you pick one up, or is it still at the?
I did not pick one up.
Okay.
Okay, so there's one guard who still has a gun on them. Pretty disarmed the other one and put it in the sink. I am going to say I don't want to keep making tokens here, so I will say there is a. Let's make this blood red. Body here. Body here. Anywhere else, you guys? I mean, I'm just thinking you're pulling right into the middle here.
What are these over here? Like outbuildings or crates, or what are those?
Okay, so the one to the left that's sort of tilted is a garden shed.
Okay.
The one that is straight up is an outhouse privy.
All right, I'm gonna drag him into the outhouse.
Okay. So instead, now I will just get rid of that,
Yeah, I'm gonna pile him up in the outhouse.
and I will just say this token now represents.
If anyone needs to
all
go before
bodies.
I occupy this,
All right. There are 3 bodies sitting on it's a stool. It's a two-seater. One of those
for buddy pooping.
for buddy pooping. The bench, and so you got 3 of them crammed onto here, just sitting up there, just heads lolling down. I mean, the one who got stabbed through the neck is probably still slowly trickling out. The one who
Well, at least now it'll drain right into that pit.
the bludgeoned one is his head's sort of mangled up, but he's this looks like you've got the 3 monkeys. You got one who's been crushed.
See no evil, hear no evil.
One
no
through
evil.
the gut who's been smushed into the gut, one who's been stabbed through the neck, and one whose head is caved in a little bit.
Well, the one stabbed through the throat will certainly speak no evil.
That's
pretty caved in the eyes of the other one.
Yep.
So I guess it's just the one that was hit by the car.
None of them can hear any evil, so.
Oh, well, he's not going to hear much.
No. All right, so there are, you have 3 corpses piled up into an outhouse. As you start hearing, you start seeing the light of a lantern coming. Clyde, you are out by the vehicle. Daisy, where are you at as the light is getting closer?
I think, Clyde, should I just stay here and add some credibility to the story? I can bandage up my thumbs the best I can while I'm
I
doing
mean, if anything, we did make a lovely couple back in London. Let's
Alright,
keep the
yeah.
trend going.
I'll stay with Clyde.
Okay.
And I'll try with the best I can.
Yeah,
With
go
no
ahead.
thumb.
Go ahead and do the first aid. I might give you the penalty die on that with the broken.
Yeah.
Oh, still a success. So, you can put next in first aid as well.
I'm already good with that. I use that skill.
Uh.
But I'll just that way I'm trying to stabilize the best I can. Maybe I
got
can be helpful.
You got it. Okay, so your thumbs in. You start seeing, actually, I'm gonna say that's occurring. The bandaging up. Clyde starts, working on the car. or at least assessing the damage to the car.
Should we make sure those doors are shut then too, guys?
Once Harmon starts
once
getting
Harmon
the
goes
bodies out of the way. Yeah.
That's what I would recommend.
All right. Let's say the doors are closed. I'm gonna draw them back on, but with a nice brown color. Okay. Not a great drawing, but you get what I'm doing. Okay. So, the doors are closed. Harmon's cramming bodies into an outhouse. You guys are working on that. Purdy, we're going to go back to your map. I might. No, just for the. I'll just keep bebopping back and forth.
Harmon stops for a moment, stares at the bodies, and thinks, "How in the world did I end up here?"
So I'm going up there next.
Oops.
That was.
1 second. I want to grab your token and move it so that we, keep track of who's who here. So.
I wonder if I can drag my token because
See.
I have.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
did you do it? Nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Forgot. I can do that.
Okay. So you're going up to the next door up here.
Yep.
And that appears locked. That door is locked, and it appears to be a stout lock.
And do I have any of the keys of what I had?
You can try them all. So you have a number of
That's
keys, and you try them all, and none of them open this door.
Okay. I'll give one last attack of it.
You gonna try to break down the door?
Yeah, why not?
Give her.
Come on,
Strength.
you can do it.
Yeah, strength. Needed
Yeah.
C in extreme.
Push it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
And unfortunately,
No, your rotator.
Your thumbs too.
no. But we are gonna dislocate a shoulder. I think.
Okay.
And you'll take 2 points of damage.
Okay.
Um,
Happened. It's happened to him before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still in pain, but it's happened.
Okay. So that door remains shut. Harmon, you arrange the bodies. You go, how the hell did I get here? What do you do once you've got the bodies all set? You now, as you walk out of the outhouse, and there's you're working by light of moon. You hear somebody sort of, hello over there. Hello. Has there been an accident? And anything you want to do before that's all you hear, but you don't hear Clyde or Daisy respond yet. But anything you want to do from the back?
No, I want to button my lip and try not to be heard.
Okay. Thought I heard the sounds of gunshots. Is everyone quite all right? And now I'm with Clyde and Daisy.
Oh, all right. I think I'll be fine. Had a bit of a accident. I'm not as good a driver as I thought. But my partner here is doing a wonderful job trying to fix the damage. And thumbs heal. And I'll just wipe the blood from my forehead. And...
Oh my, you poor dears. Was the sound of? I mean, was it? Did someone? Oh, the windshield looks shattered.
Oh, yes. When I crashed into the wall.
As Clyde's underneath the vehicle. Well, sometimes when he's gonna start talking car nonsense because Dawson doesn't know cars for the life of him, but Clyde sure does.
Okay.
He's like, well, back when this engine was first made, it turns out that the fuel pump for it kind of didn't go in all the way, and when the certain mechanisms that released the gas, they caused a loud bang, which apparently caused the stress fractures in the grass to shatter it and then blow our car to the side of the road. It was absolutely horrible. I'm seeing what I can at least do to assess the damage.
If we were at a table game, you guys would have seen my expression. Would you? I mean, I can go and get help from town if you would be happy to assist.
Well, that's mighty kind of you to offer, but I think we're actually fine. It doesn't seem to be too bad. I mean, if I just replace this little bolt right here and get into the third caliper of the second axle, I can probably figure it out.
And I'm a nurse, so I think I assessed my own damage, and I think I'll be fine.
Well, all right then. I do think your axle's been completely cracked, though. He's
Oh,
looking
you
at.
can tell that from looking in the dark. You're ever so good at that.
Well, the front of the.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
when
two
you
parts are hanging down.
when you your axle cracks, the car just sort of falls down a
I
little
can
bit.
see the axle. It's in two pieces.
Well, Daisy's just
Uh,
doesn't know cars.
Oh, it's completely like, boop. That was when the phone call happened. Oh boy, what did
sorry,
you do?
Sorry, I think when we rolled the damage, it said the car was done. Like,
I
Yeah.
think the way cars work, it goes by the build, actually. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's-
right, it
The
did.
car had 5 build points and took 7 points of damage.
Mhm.
No, each build point is 10 hit points. It's a threshold thing.
I think
We did
no,
not know
no,
that.
So if it's a build of 4,
but-
it's 40 hit points, but the build won't go down until he reaches 10.
but I think it says substituting hit points in place of build. So doesn't that mean you use
Yes.
build,
If
but
you
or
look-
do you do build times whatever?
It's build times 10 for each
Oh.
build point.
So it's really only taken. It
Taken
hasn't even
damage.
taken one full build
Oh.
point. It took 7.
Actually, that's what the other hit point was. So it's taking 7, so it's still good. It's just not looking great. So if we were to take 3 more damage, we're losing our build point.
Then it would suffer some kind of larger failure.
Sure, I'm pretty sure I read that's how it was in chases.
That makes sense.
A rating of the
Build,
strength.
the rating of a strength inside the vehicle when reduced to 0, the vehicle is out of action. That's for the build. Each full 10 hit points of damage would decrease the vehicle's build by 1 point.
If the vehicle's build is reduced to half, it is impaired.
So it isn't even impaired yet.
It isn't. Okay, my bad.
Well,
That changes things.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh boy, did we really mess up the vehicle by driving into a guy into a wall?
Wait, I
oh,
think you probably could. But
definitely.
but back then, those things were all made out of like straight up steel. So
The person's going to be broken before the vehicle, most likely.
super broken. Okay. Well, that all then makes sense, and so you are able to repair the car. Okay, yeah. Now at this point, you're just talking about scratch paint and the windshield's gone, and
The renters are going to have a field day with us.
okay. Well, I just. He just starts looking around. He's holding the lantern up, and well, where were you headed to it? And you guys, if you're heading west to Mickleover or back east to Derby.
But we're staying in Derby,
Oh.
so we were heading that way.
Looks like you hit the car heading west, though.
Well, we wanted to see, because I heard from my time across the sea, you see, as a bit that apparently the English countryside is very beautiful at night, and we wanted to get out of the city from time to time, because I grew up in Boston for a good majority of my life, did not like it. I wanted to, not necessarily start over, but at least get a new perspective on life, and have you ever heard of pond monsters?
Give me a fast talk.
He's gonna just spout American nonsense. No!
Aw.
No, I haven't. Now he's looking at you very strangely, and
But we are staying in Derby. We came from Derby. We will be heading back to Derby.
oh, but
That
you
is
were
what I
out
meant to say.
looking
So
for.
we were out driving away from Derby because that's where we're staying.
Oh, you were heading to look for pond monsters.
He heard of the Loch Ness monster and is insistent that there's pond monsters here in. I don't know.
Did we establish that Loch
American.
Ness was a
it hasn't happened yet.
Oh,
This
well
is
then
the
I wouldn't
fashion
have
of
said
the
that. I
Yeah,
only
yeah,
yeah.
remember
Heard of Loch Ness
historically,
Monster, yeah.
guys.
Yeah, that's that.
I'm
But
sorry. I thought the whole reason you were doing pond monsters is because of Loch Ness. So I wouldn't
We
reference something that doesn't exist yet.
We are the
We-
progenitors of the Loch Ness
we are the reason Loch Ness became a thing.
mystery.
So I would just say he's
Historical
an American.
counterfactual.
He's insistent that there's pond monsters in England.
I see. Well, if you are quite sure you've got everything handled here, I suppose if you need anything, I'm quite awake now. I'll be putting some tea on.
Oh, you're at the farmhouse down the road then?
Yes.
Was that your dog we
that's
heard?
my dog still barking.
Mhm.
What kind of dog is it? I'm a big
English
fan of dogs.
English setter.
I don't think I've ever seen one. So
Or
I
as
might
they
have to
call
look
them
up now
here,
for
a
later.
setter.
It's just a setter. Yeah, here. Anyway, are you sure I can't help? You don't look like you're. I mean, do you need my lantern? I can hold the lantern up, help you repair.
Maybe
We have torches.
yes.
You
We
do.
have
You
We
just
all
had to hold them out.
Mhm.
So,
Sorry, you can't see it. He's gonna, as he's underneath the car. I got one right here. We're good.
okay, well then, best of luck. You make sure you report to the local constabulary. They like to keep track of auto accidents.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have to. This is yes.
Oh, it's a rented vehicle. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, and he just slowly starts walking away. Every once in a while, you see him trying to turn back and look at you, all this quizzical look, and just moves on. That's Harmon. I keep moving. Sorry, Harmon's not there, but I was using, I guess, his token as the dude.
Oh, I'm
That's
still
okay.
on Purdy's
Just-
map.
I don't mind.
Oh, you guys are on Purdy's map, aren't you? Sorry for the stream. I had us on. Well, I'm not going to move it because I'm heading back to Purdy now anyway. All right.
Monsters. What was I thinking?
I don't know. I'm not very good at ever coming up with stories either. I think Purdy's the only one that has successfully done that with a group.
I was only trying to say we want to see the English countryside at night because I heard it was beautiful because there's nothing out here. Pond monsters? What was I thinking?
Well, I don't know. Most British people don't get so involved with things. They just kind of mind their own business, you know. But that person was very insistent on asking us questions. We did the best we could.
All right. Purdy. Got a sore shoulder.
Yep. I just keep moving down the hall,
You have,
down to the last of the doors I've not opened.
you've got.
Harmon's going to be heading in there.
Okay. Can you pull your token onto the map?
I have no idea.
Oh, so all you do is go to the journal, and where your character is, just drag it by the words Harmon, not by the picture. You should be able to.
There we go.
Look at that.
And they're properly sized,
little.
which whenever I do it, they're wrong. This is, I think,
I'm properly sized in comparison to Purdy's token.
for some reason, Purdy's token is big. I
No, that's right, though.
don't. Okay.
I think
All right. So as Purdy, you go to the last door. Harmon walks in, sees you because because the lights are on. This door is locked as well.
Oh, Purdy, you've got blood all over yourself.
I will try the keys again.
The third key opens the door. And so you are
Let's see what's inside, Professor.
Well, let's have a look. I've got this revolver on my just in case.
I love how Harmon always ends up with revolvers. Didn't you have one before too?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And so we can't see 475, right? I assume that
all these
those
numbers are just for me. They didn't make a
No, no, I
nice.
they're closed areas.
Oh, you're right. Yes, those
no,
are
no, just making
yeah.
sure that we.
just for
Yeah.
for keeping it. Yeah, there you go. All right, you guys can walk in there, and or if you so choose, you can just look. But what you see are several work tables that have bench vices on them, and each one of these tables, there's like drive belts from the ceiling coming down
Mm-hmm.
that attach to a lathe. It's a little bit better than a rudimentary lathe.
Good.
I was like, can I get in there before Ed gets? Uh, it's no, it's a full mechanical lathe, modern for the times, and there's baskets full of metal shavings, and then on these tables here you have these sort of cart slash tables, wheeled tables that have tools on them, and these shelves all appear to have different tools and materials on them. This spot here is a very large, sort of open on both sides fireplace. And as you walk in, you can see that it is like been allowed to bank because the lights were out. I'm also gonna say you guys turn the lights on.
I don't know what you mean by bank.
Like it's been banked so that it's not a roaring fire anymore, but so it's easy to restart the fire in the morning. They've banked the fire, so it just moves all the coals onto one side.
I see.
They stay hot, and then you can restart your fire earlier, or later. Sorry. The two, just so I'll just read off what they are. The two is just basically indicating this is the workshop floor, the production area. You are in the production.
Description of the whole room.
Yeah, and when you turn the lights on, it's sort of that hum, that electric hum, and these are all metal halide lights. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with there were street lights were when I was a kid, were metal halide. They had that little noise to them. And so you're in an electric humming. The fluorescent is not a thing yet.
I think
Fluorescent is a thing in the 20s, but it was expensive.
Purdy would be trying to figure out from the tools and stuff. Does he have any concept of, like, there's a difference between a wood workshop and a metal workshop and a whatever. Yeah.
You tell me. I'm good with however you want to rule that. Like, this isn't something that you need to check on. Either you would know it or you wouldn't.
Oh.
There's nothing mysterious about this. These are all like tools that are available in the 20s.
Yeah, so if it's something that he would be able to deduce from farm or ranch situation, then he'd probably know. Otherwise,
I think you could make the assumption fairly quickly that it's just metalworking tools more than anything else. You don't see the things that you would see in a farmhand's workshop.
Yeah.
If there is a saw, you see that there's bits of metal that are meant for cutting metal.
And is that a door?
That is a door, and I don't know why it looks like that. Let me double check the book. I read this morning up on that, and
Kind of like a staircase.
it does look like a staircase.
Yeah, or like a window with a shelf on both ends, just like a kiosk or something.
Cell?
Let me look quickly.
Like a kiosk counter, a DMV.
Mm-hmm. That is a good description of what that looks like. Pick a number.
Eight.
Well, you'll be waiting a long time.
Oh no.
We're on 72 right now, so.
So Daisy, what was the first injury you ever treated as a nurse?
Oh, let's see. Well, when I was young, my brother fell from an apple tree and I wasn't a nurse yet, but I helped him as he, fell, and I got him back home, and I think that's when it kind of hit me that that's what I wanted to do. I seem to have a knack for such things.
It really does not say.
No, I heard great things come from apple trees. I mean, that Isaac Newton guy got hit by an apple from a tree. And
Oh, yeah.
look what he did. He ruined the education system for myself when I was a kid because I knew nothing what he was talking about.
An object in motion, all of that.
No.
I-
Flies right over my head.
I think what makes most sense is that's an office window that looks out into the
So
into the shop.
can we look into it?
Sure, you have a torch.
I also have an electric torch, so I'll do that as well.
Okay. What you see is clearly a management office. Well, let me reveal here. And you see a large desk. You see the office houses a desk and a large cabinet, which between them fills the room. So here's the desk, and here's the cabinet, and there are some papers on the desk. You can see. You wouldn't be able to read them from where you're at right now, and on the desk is also a teapot and a teacup.
Does it look like this window can be opened?
It does not. It looks like it is a fixed window.
Purdy's gonna.
Did Purdy
So-
relay the fact that we can't get that door open? I'm kind of assumed that.
Yeah. I mean, he wouldn't admit that he couldn't get it open.
I'm gonna look around in the shop for a crowbar.
And I'm gonna look over on this side, the west side of this room,
Of
and maybe also
which room? Of the
big
main
room.
split.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe just try these doors. Just for.
Okay.
I guess Purdy does have like the know-how to know that like if this was a place you baled hay, right? Not that you would do that inside, but if you baled hay here, it seems weird that the doors are so small. Like, I think he's just sort of wondering, like, if you make something here, where do you then put it?
So
That's his
as you look around,
investigatory.
you can see like there are no like in progress pieces. They look like they get put away, and that's exactly what you're wondering. And so when you get to this space here, that is not brick or wood framed. That is a large walk-in safe
Hey,
with the whole safe wheel thing. And
hey guys, now's the time I'll tell you that I have a 9 to 5 and safe cracking too.
I am gonna jump back out to. So at this point, the farmer is, you guys peek out. You can see he's mostly got back home. The car is drivable. Clyde didn't have to do now that we've really revisited how automobile damage works. Car is definitely drivable, although the windshield is gone. You can move it if you would like to. What do you guys want to do? The doors, you did close the doors to the compound. I'm going to move us over to that screen.
Well, and they had already moved the car. They had pushed the car back before, right?
Pushed it back, back in the
order
road,
for
actually.
him to be able to work on it.
Yep. I might say the headlight's even broken, because ran it into the wall. So.
The right-hand side headlight.
Yeah.
Well, it was probably like hanging off on its own little mount. So yeah, probably snapped right off.
Yeah, I think you could drive it home on one headlight, though. Sorry.
I'm not going to dignify that with a comment. I know we have different opinions on Jacob Dylan.
We do.
You want to get inside the compound for now, just so it's out of the road?
I think that's a good idea in case anyone else comes by.
Try to be a good Samaritans. Yep.
Vroom, vroom,
You don't need any of those people here.
I think we should have it facing the exit, though, so that way we can leave quickly if we need to. Backing up is harder than you might think.
Okay, you guys are all in the compound at this point. The door is still open to the main workshop. You guys are in the compound. What do you two want to do? Daisy,
Sure.
I'm going to make the rule that you cannot drive currently.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure how much help I'm going to be. My hands aren't working the best right now.
Although you did pass your first aid check, so does
Yeah,
that
but I'm used
all
to
that-
doing that with
all
my
that-
teeth.
but I was just saying does that give you a hit point of damage back or
1 hit point.
Yeah, so you get your hit point back. I was going to make sure that you had that.
Okay.
So maybe they're stabilized, so like if you had to, you could drive like because you've got it splinted, you know.
I don't think I'm the best option for driving, but if you'd like, I can stay out by the gate and kind of listen, keep an eye on things, while you boys check out the buildings.
Well, he's gonna go over to the body closet, or if he has not already, pull out a set of keys that they may have had.
Okay.
And maybe the other gun that's sitting there.
Okay, you've equipped yourself with. So you do have 2 handguns currently?
I think there would be 3
And one's
total.
in a
There's
sink.
three
One's in the
guards.
sink. Harmon
One's in
has
the sink,
one.
Harmon
Clyde
has the other.
Yep. You guys, do you want me to add that to your inventories? Do you want the 32s in your inventories?
I'm going
I
to
already have one in my inventory because I
Okay.
bought one in Peru.
Okay.
I'm going to give the revolver to Daisy.
They're gonna be able to hold it with their thumbs, but
This might be challenging, Clyde.
Well,
I imagine the recoil on it would really a thumb that's broken.
I think you're probably better with it. You know how to use weapons.
you would think so. Let's just say handguns aren't my forte.
I think you have a base 20 though, right? Like I think everybody has a base 20.
Everyone has a base 20, I think,
Yeah.
for handguns.
Yep.
If you somehow figure out a way to put a stock on this thing, I'm set. Then we're good. But it's a little beyond me. But also, you don't have a weapon really, so this is in case of last resort.
Right. Okay, I'll hold on to it.
All
Maybe
right.
just the image of it would be something to deter somebody.
It is one. Oh no, these all have. The one that comes off of the body out here has one less bullet. So that's Harmon's.
That's the one that Harmon grabbed.
Yeah, Harmon has one
Yep.
less bullet. Okay. So, let's.
And I will lock the gates and the door.
Okay. Easily done. All right. What? Let's move back into where are you guys heading? Are you going to head into the gosh, what is that? The big.
Workshop?
That's a big shed. And the other 2 are in the workroom.
Well, I don't think Daisy would go in any building. She's gonna stay kind of. I don't know if there's any way to see outside the compound now that the doors and everything are shut, but basically just listening for any commotion, keeping
Okay.
an eye on if anything's going to happen out here.
Got it. So Daisy's going to take up a guard position. Clyde?
Would you like me to stay with you, or you want me to go in with the others?
I think I'm all right out here. I'll just scream really loud if something bad happens.
He'll give a nod and he'll start heading in.
Okay. Duff, you want to drag your token on? It'll be a little bit before you get there, but if you want to start dragging your token in to this one.
The words, not the picture.
All right. Purdy was at the safe, right?
Oh yeah, I was. Yeah,
Harmon, you were looking at the window.
No, I'm looking for
Okay.
a pry bar.
Okay. You're able to find a piece of metal stock that you think could act as a pry bar. You cannot find a pry bar per se, but there's metal stock everywhere.
Not a properly appointed shop then. Jeez. But I'll use this. I'm gonna try to use it to get that door open. And I'll probably will ask Purdy to help because
Are you
this
going
might
back
take
out
more
here?
muscle than. Yes. It might take a little more muscle than I have.
Okay. So how this works is, you get. Let's see. The combined skill check is in. I think I flagged this. I love this mechanic. When you have something that is stronger than you. So like the where is this? It's like the example in the book is it's lifting something heavy off of something that's fallen onto another player. So you guys, it's an extreme difficulty, and then you guys, here we go. All right, Roger's trapped beneath the fallen rafter.
Damn it, Roger! Not again.
God damn it, Roger.
Okay,
No one
so in
invited
order to
you.
break the door, I was doing this a little differently. Okay, so
Your shit, Roger.
in order to break the door, it's 150 whatever. So 150. This has got like the size, so I'm gonna just make it like the way they do it with lifting stuff. I'm gonna use the same thing, only use a different, instead of it's this size, so then you have to. I'm gonna say it's this strength. So we have 150. So Purdy would put 90 right with his strength, right?
Right.
So Purdy has 90 subtracted. So what is Harmon's strength?
45.
Okay. So let's see. The way this works is Cecil has a strength 40. The most he can attempt to lift its size. All right, wait. Let me read through this. All right. The keeper rules that the rafter has a size of 150. Cecil's strength is only 40, which is more than 100 below. Okay, so you can now, because Purdy has pulled it down below 100, you cannot, like if we had Harmon go first, he couldn't pull it under 100. So, but Purdy can. So then Harmon can, if I'm reading this correctly, Harmon can then now roll. It's less than 100 points, so you only need to get a regular success.
And does the pry bar give me like a bonus or something?
Sure.
What does the pry bar do for me?
It might not do a whole heck of a lot, but I'll give you a bonus die on it just for funsies.
And
I am totally doing this wrong. I just want to get through this because there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that just roll your strength. That'll do it.
The pry bar helped.
The prime. So it pulls the door open against the lock. The lock is broken. The jam is split. The door opens. And you guys can go in.
Right.
Just because I wanted to get through that and get this, but I think so. You go by whose strength is lowest first. It is subtracted from the size or the strength. The this is over 90, but is less than 100 points above Martin, so he can attempt. So that's how that had to be. So like,
So it should have gone the other way. We
should
should have subtracted mine first.
45.
But then Purdy would have been close enough that he could attempt.
Then Purdy would actually have a straight roll as well, and probably would have had no problem. But what you did was make it so he didn't need an extreme success. So
yeah,
okay, got it. Going forward, all right.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you guys, but you did pry the door open, and Clyde walks in right as the door gets, and the lock splits, and the door opens.
What in the world are you doing?
Opening a door?
Man, all of you are different sizes.
Clyde, you've been working out.
No, it's just my ego.
That's funny.
Thank you. There we go. Now Purdy's taller.
Harmon is already set at 50-50, and yet he's still smaller. I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway.
Well, it's because my size is only 50.
I was just using the token dimension. But okay, you guys go in there. Now, what you see in there carefully is there's the cabinets are there, the desk. Hold on, I have. You find. I switched pages and I'm going between two books now. So, okay. So you find the desk and the cabinet. On the desk are just some papers, and then a teapot and a teacup. Then there is the cabinet behind. And otherwise, it just looks like there's an old wooden office chair, hardwood floors. Not
Probably a mimic.
It is a mimic. We're crossing the streams.
Purdy cannot read, but he knows his numbers. So he is looking for a combination.
I'm gonna go through the desk.
Okay. You reach through. You start going through the desk, and you find a whole bunch of everything looks up and up here. They're it's just like communications of like contracting with delivery trucks. There's calendaring items for when like projects that don't seem to they seem kind of innocuous. Just like March production completing this date to be shipped this date, but it doesn't say anything like what that production is. You do see a date on one of these calendars that says Ivory Wind departs at this date, and that's a name that you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
That is the freighter that Chowdhury's warehouse was working with, and also captained by a Norwegian ship captain.
Is there a date on it?
There is several. So you see that you see ships this date arrive Shanghai this date, and it's the date that it's supposed to arrive is in April, and it's supposed to be leaving the March, like this week, and the date is the end of April. But on the rest of the desk, it's just, you find some pipe tobacco, you find a pipe. Nothing else of real note on the desk.
Are there drawers?
There are drawers, but I kind of was describing what you found in those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the desk yields not much.
Any signs of numbers? It could be a secret, not secret, hidden under a keyboard.
No, you don't see anything like that.
And did we open the cabinet or no? Sorry.
You have not told me you've opened the cabinet.
I was gonna say I was gonna go through the cabinet.
Okay. The cabinet is not locked, and you open it, and it is mostly drawers. Some of them kind of. So as you look at it, these cabinet.
Men's or women's drawers?
I was really hoping it's just a whole cabinet full of pants.
That's what I was too.
Sadly, it is not. But it is large. I don't know if you've ever been in either an engineer's shop or a artist studio where there's large drawers you pull out, and so instead of rolling up papers, like these plans are flattened and filed in these these drawers, and so as you start opening them, you see blueprints upon blueprints upon blueprints.
Any blueprints I recognize as to what they're building?
You can make a science or mechanical repair check. Your choice.
You know,
One of your
mechanical repair is something that he prides himself on at being quite average at.
Oh,
They're
You know,
I'm gonna stop you.
okay.
Because you're looking at these and they are difficult, and this is a little bit beyond what you.
This is like engineer stuff,
You
not
yeah, it's
mechanic.
not just that. You would recognize engineering stuff. Some of this stuff is like feels different than anything you've seen before. You would need an extreme success on
Oh,
mechanical
boy.
repair.
hey, you want Purdy to come over and help you? I can tell you what that is, Cloud. I know you don't have your glasses on. You don't need to be embarrassed.
What?
What you do see as you're holding it up to Purdy for him to look at it is you see signature. Like they're not signed necessarily. They are signed, but they're at the blueprint in the bottom right corner. Usually, it has who the engineer is and all the drawings.
Mhm.
Where that would normally be, you just see the words "Pale Viper," and it's in the bottom right corner of every one of these blueprints.
Can't say I've ever heard of a pale viper before. Sounds like someone doesn't.
That's not. That picture is not of a pale viper. That thing is like 8 boxes with a triangle in the middle.
Are you sure? I mean, it looks kind of like 8 trapezoids with Wait. Flip
Don't use
it
your
over.
fancy book learning on me.
Oh, that is a
There's-
triangle. I think you're right.
Eh.
Hey, Harmon, have you ever heard of a pale viper?
No. We had to learn a little bit about vipers for. I mean, snakes. Not. Hey, no.
Think it's one of that. What's that word you use? A pseudonym?
Could be, I suppose.
As you're going through the desk, Carmen, one thing that does, I mean, it's not like a huge clue. It doesn't catch you as like, oh, this is the key to unlock everything. But you come to realize that even though there's no nameplates on the door or anything like that, that the person whose office this is probably named Frank Marshall.
Have we heard that name before?
No.
Is there tea in the teacup?
There is. We'll say there's the remainder of some tea, some undrunk tea.
Oh, we
And
need Daisy to come in and do a reading.
Is there a tea kettle? Like, is there in the tea kettle?
You saw a tea kettle in the break room. There is a teapot that was probably filled from a tea kettle.
Yeah,
Yep.
but that's empty too.
Residue.
Or just the ends, yeah.
Is there any rugs on the
definitely
floor?
cold. No rugs.
Any floor? In short, Clyde's going to try and do a deep dive of the room and search for any hidden stuff like he would saw in Gadigan's office, like that kind of stuff he's looking for.
Give me a spot hit. You don't see anything like that. There's no trap doors, nothing like that. But as you and Purdy are wont to do, hey Purdy, hey Clyde, kind of conversations. Purdy had mentioned he was like, where did we keep all this stuff? And you note there's like drag marks. Metal has been pulled into this room, and not seeing it in here since, you see it also, checking carefully, you also note that it's been dragged in here and then dragged out. And there's lots of scuffs and scrapes of edged metal that has come in here.
Any way to determine the size of the possible thing being drugged in here through the scrapes?
Yeah, it's not enormous, but it definitely is heavy. Fits through the door, and probably not probably. It's fairly narrow stuff coming in. Like you would say, like pipes or things that would connect pipes. And then looking at the desk, you can see that this desk is sometimes used for final assemblage.
Well, whatever they're keeping in here, they're probably not making it leave the building. It's probably too heavy for that just now. Ernie, did you see anything that would happen to look like something that would be chucked into this room?
I mean, no. Is that safe over there? I
There's a
don't know.
safe.
Doing it.
You know what this may need. The hands of a newly trained safecracker.
Well, if
Are
only
you
we knew
one of
one
those?
that had been trained.
If only we did. He's back in London.
Oh wait, there actually is locksmith.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I got a 1 in it, but yeah.
Clyde's got 7.
I mean, let me just do the stupid thing because I know some
What?
people think they're smart and all, but can I check if the safe is unlocked
The safe is locked.
as a person who has occasionally left his safe unlocked?
Yep.
Well, the only thing I can think of is to shit inside that teapot and see if something happens.
Okay. You can do that.
Now, I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm going to
Oh.
say to narrator, I'm going to say that I'm going to convince Clyde to do that.
The
Because I
second
think
he hears that, he leaves the room.
All right. Anything else you guys want to look at? You want to look at the
Kirby
safe? There's
pockets the
doors.
teapot.
Okay. Take the teapot.
Clyde would like to look around the warehouse itself.
Okay. You look around the warehouse, and it's as I described. There are several lathes, metal stock. I should have mentioned earlier. There appear to be some electronic components, vacuum tube stuff, which would have been. I mean, I probably should. At that point, that would be rare enough where you would need to make a mechanic. I'm going to just say Clyde would recognize it though. As
Any that would make strange lights?
Potentially, you suspect that could be.
What about these doors here?
Okay, this door is open, and you're able to go in there, and you find supplies. So I'm trying to do the reveal, and it keeps giving me the. You want to put more fog down? No, I want to reveal.
I heard you say more fog.
But I want to put down more fog. And in here is just a bunch of like sawdust. But of interest to you as you go looking through here is you find the materials. You find small crates, but you also find the materials to actually build large crates. And that you find packing labels. And I am going to ask you for a no check. Knowledge.
Knowledge, is that intelligence or education?
Intelligence in this case. Okay. You've seen these labels before, and you guys, you know these are forged. These are, they look like they've already been approved for cargo to be exported out of England. This is illegal looking. In fact, as you look at it, because of some of the time you spent in World War I working in England, you look like it's being approved by the War Department and pre-approved by the War Department to go out. But you, looking at it, you guys have already kind of determined that these are forgeries.
I guess what Clyde's going to try and do is that I was going to say like noticeable evidence I can gather here to possibly present to proper authorities, or is there anything I can like
The
do to try
labels.
to prove that? I'll definitely take marks from the labels.
Okay. And like you can grab one of these forged out printed labels.
I shall.
Okay. And that's basically what you find in that room. Harmon, what are you up to?
Well, I don't have any concept of how to get into the safe, so I'm sort of waiting for this. This really seems like Clyde's milieu, so I'm gonna wait for him.
Okay.
I think this be definitely a thing. Sorry, continue.
It would have taken you a while to go through that storage, so I'm checking in with what you guys are doing while you're going through the storage.
What were you at? Did you say my name?
Yeah, Purdy, what are you up to?
Oh, I'm totally.
You're stealing a
Feeling
teapot, but
Yeah, I'm totally feeling lucky.
that's surprisingly close, you know? But no.
Right. Should I use luck?
No.
20 luck.
You require a well, I guess. I mean, you require an extreme success to open it.
And that's what, critical success?
All successes are the same when your skill is 1.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I think we said that you can't get anything beyond a normal.
I think we did say that spending
But
luck only gets you to a
rolling
success.
a 1? Yeah.
Yeah. Like
you didn't roll a 1 anyway.
I said you can't luck your way into a critical success.
Yeah.
Spend luck your way into. So
Party pooper.
So I think the only one who actually could, I don't even know, with a 7, what's an extreme success on a 7? That's
I think it's 2 or lower.
So like you could technically probably buy your way in. But okay. So Daisy, not, the night goes quiet.
Has anybody looked at the building to the, like, number 13,
Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
No.
Are
Nobody.
there windows or anything?
No, we all just followed Purdy into this one.
Yeah, no,
I feel like sometimes I'm being watched and supervised. Like I can't be trusted on my own.
So, interestingly, with this one, there are windows, but they're not glazed. So they're just openings.
Okay.
And you could poke your head in, and if you turned your flashlight on, there's not enough moonlight for you to see into there, but you'd have to flashlight into it.
I think I have a
Didn't you
I
guys
don't think
all
I have
buy?
a flashlight.
You all
But
have electric torches, right? Which
Yeah,
is a
we
flashlight.
bought them.
Yeah,
We bought them for everybody.
I think you bought one for
okay.
everybody.
I
Yeah.
don't have it in my
Oh, okay.
inventory. But yeah, I think I would, as I'm kind of out here listening, watching, I want to see what's going on maybe in this building.
Okay. As you shine your light into that, it illumines what appears to be like a, I don't want to say powerhouse necessarily, but it kind of, I think actually that's not a bad way to put it. It's called the Big Shed in the book, and it has two. Okay, this is a huge open plan building housing the materials and the foundry. So this is where like metals are processed in here. So there's a large furnace. 2 large industrial ovens and furnace take pride of place here, along with various workbenches, stacks of coke, coal, and not cocaine, coke, coal, and wood, stacks of sawdust, piles of iron, steel, and copper, wooden crates, water trough, barrels of plaster, all manner of tools.
Okay.
And it just looks like the reason there's no glazing in these windows, and they're a little up high, like you could climb into it, but you're basically at head, poking it. And the reason is just basically because it's hot as crap. So, but fires are out.
Okay. And there's nobody. I don't see anybody in there.
Nope, it's empty. If you try the door is locked. So, if you wanted to get
No,
in, you'd need to climb in the window.
I don't think I want to try doing that. I
Okay.
just wanted to see what was inside, since I wasn't sure.
Okay.
And make sure nobody was in. Well, no visible people were in there. So I mean, it sounds like to me like almost like what a blacksmith might have, in some sense, like ovens and like a foundry, things like.
Yeah, it's a modern blacksmithery.
Yeah.
Blacksmith.
Are there
Well,
like
1920s.
crates in there as well? Like
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
every okay? So some things are crated up.
Yep.
Oh, well now I'm curious. I don't know how well I'd be able to climb in through a window
Well, with
with
broken thumbs, you'd
my
also,
broken thumb.
yeah, you would. I'd probably be giving you a penalty die on that climb.
Unless there's something I could drag over and climb up on. I don't know.
You could pull the car forward, get on the hood.
Oh yeah, that's true. The car, because I'm on this map that doesn't have my token or the
Oh,
car or
I can
anything,
move us over.
No, 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 don't move it.
Okay.
Like it's fine. It was just like it didn't occur to me that like, oh yeah, the car's there. I might do that. I might just,
Okay.
it's a little shaky getting in the car again after everything that's just happened, but I'm just going to take it really slow
Okay.
and go over so that maybe I can
Behind the
climb
wheel
up.
and suddenly have the urge to kill again.
It was a little traumatic for me, okay? I didn't get into the car expecting to take a human life.
Developed a taste for it.
Okay. We'll come back. We'll come back to that. We'll say you pull the car up. You guys can hear the car start from inside the main building.
Look out, everyone.
But Daisy pulls the car forward and is able to turn the car off. And so the car starts. You hear a little bit of movement. Car stops. All right. Anything else you guys want to do while that happens?
You're saying there's a chance I could do this. I believe.
What's the other door there?
That door is open. You can actually open that door.
I'll peek in there while Clyde's looking at the safe.
Okay.
I
Go
didn't
ahead.
quite realize that door was there.
You can, Clyde, you can roll the locksmith check.
All right, Finley. You taught me so much. This is the
Taught
chance
me
to
7 things.
You taught me a whole 7 things of how to do this. Step 1. Damn it.
No.
What was step 1 again?
Hey, I know you know more than me, but I think you might be doing that wrong.
You're not helping the situation, Purdy. This takes a delicate hand.
I feel like I was doing it better.
He's gonna step back
Twice as
and
good.
just go,
Twice as good. It was just twice as good.
I'm not saying twice. I'm just saying, like
Well, 21 is,
20. I'm just saying, like
You were
approximately 21%
closer to succeeding.
more.
I assume there's no way to push break in this lock.
No.
Yeah, I figured.
What Harmon opens the door on. It's so mundane that it's incongruous. It's a cupboard, and it's full of dishes and like tea and like biscuits and break room food, and it's
Why is this not in the kitchen?
yeah. Well, I asked that of whoever drew this map, because that's actually what it is, and
Why does this open into the shop when there's a kitchen over there?
it says it's a cupboard and it's full of like food stuff, and it's like there's a break room kitchenette outside of the shop. I don't know, but the cupboard. Oh, sorry. Then oh my bad. Sorry. So then there's the upper shelves. Sorry, I misread that. So all of this like incongruous crap that doesn't really seem to belong there. But as you look up, then you see like the poisons, and you see resins and acids, and these are not like little. These are like etching acids and all kinds of solvents, and every single one of these is like got the big skull and crossbones on them. Every single thing in here is a dangerous material, and yet it's right over foodstuff.
Food.
Yeah,
Of
I-
food,
I-
really?
I might have misread that initially. So
No canon.
it's now canon. They're dumb. They put this shit right over their food. But yeah,
Well, I suppose on the upside, those guards didn't have long to live anyway.
I have a really stupid idea. Harmon, you're smart with stuff. Do you think any of them are strong enough to melt a lock?
I am an archaeologist, not a metallurgist. I mean, give it a try.
I'm going to answer that, and I start pouring all of them on the lock.
You could pour them in your teapot first, then you could angle the pour easily.
Yeah, perfect. Yep.
all right. You have choices. There are acids. There are
I'm going to look for a vent fan just in case. I want to make sure that the fumes don't kill us.
there is no real vent fan, but you do see the stick poles that attach to windows that are really high out. You can pull out and open the window that's over your head, and you can kind of surmise that that's what
Yeah,
they
I think
do.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you know, if it smells like garlic, don't breathe it. That's bad.
Okay. So
Wait, is that just because you're a vampire and you're scared of garlic, or is that apply to all of us?
You know, during the war, they tell you that some of the stuff smells like food from home, but don't breathe it, or you'll probably get very, very sick.
Yeah, but you said garlic.
But I think garlic in particular, yes.
You said, yeah. You said garlic.
Ain't that a certain coincidence, isn't it?
I give Harmon a knowing nod.
You don't need to tell me twice.
okay. So you pour what, like a resin or an acid or a solvent or
Oh boy, can I make a check to sort of?
Would Clyde know what to pour on metal? Would it be an acid?
I think Clyde would know that the best shot is the acid. Resin's gonna make it worse.
Fine, acid. I'll pour acid.
Okay, you put acid in your teapot.
Yep, so that he
Yeah, why
can
not?
angle the pour of where into the lock better.
Okay, so
Channel it in there better.
I'm gonna give you guys a little more information before this is the attempt. You guys have the ability to, like, you can pour it on the wheel, but everybody give me a no check, just a straight intelligence check.
Are you saying it that if we pour on the wheel, how are we going to turn the wheel to release the bullets that are holding the door into the wall?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna point out that sometimes. I'm just gonna point out that.
The lock is not, it's not like a door lock where you can actually get at the bolt that is actually the bolts that are sealing it into the, you're just looking at the thing that actually moves the bolts.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait. Can I use some purdy skill here?
Yeah, you can.
I'm gonna start ripping down whatever's on this wall.
Okay, start ripping
Well,
down.
I mean,
But-
we're in
then
this room
wall.
with any of these lathes could easily become a drill.
So you go in there and it eventually you rip down the wall and you get to metal.
And then I'll go over here.
Same
thing.
same situation. There is no open. It's a full vault.
Hulk can't smash.
Hulk cannot smash.
Right. We're in a metal shop. There's got to be some way to get through this.
You have a hammer drill?
Well, look around.
Hammer drill's not available. The All of the things that are like that in the 20s are benchtop. So you could spend some time. I'm going to say it'll take about an hour or so to because the drive belts are affixed to the ceiling, which are affixed to motors on the ceiling, to like put a couple of the belts together and move the lathe close to the door. But there'd be a pretty good chance of it, as you guys are looking at it mechanically, it might work. Not a great chance.
We've got to figure out. I mean, this whole trip is for naught if we don't find something out here. So let's try it.
Okay. So it's going to take an hour or so. So do you guys want to let Daisy know what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And does it require all of us, or?
Yeah, you're all going to need to be working. I'll let one other thing happen for each of you, but somebody's going to have to be working on this the whole time. As you're like,
Can I ask?
Like, because your strength's going to be needed for some of this stuff, and because you're moving heavy stuff. I just don't want to get into like a zillion different roles here. And
can we have Daisy drive into the wall that borders the Land City?
You could. It's a brick building, then going into metal, so
I don't know if Daisy would want to recreate the trauma that she just experienced, especially since her hands are already. And she's hopping into the other building anyway. So if you guys want to come talk to me,
right. So let's play that out. So who's going to start? I think Clyde's got the mechanical experience, and it was sort of Harmon's idea. So are they working on creating the drill?
Yeah, really
Absolutely.
asking for Clyde's guidance, and I'll just do whatever he says I need to do to help make this happen.
And then Purdy's going to go and check in with Daisy, or did you want to do something different?
Because Purdy knows nothing else to do.
I mean,
in that building. So.
Eventually, you're going to have to help them move some of this stuff. But as they,
but I mean, Purdy's his mind is elsewhere already.
All right, so let's get these rolls in. Mechanical repair or engineering, I think, are the two that you can use. Mechanical repair will require a hard success.
But engineering is one that we would have had to have added.
Not engineering. I'm sorry, it's not the one I'm looking for. Mechanical or science, and you can use engineering or physics as your science. Is what it says. A hard science.
I don't see science anywhere either.
I have biology,
chemistry
because I'm a nerd. But
so regardless, it would have had to been something we would have had to
picked. Yeah, you would have been
invested in. Yeah, specifically.
Yeah. So mechanical repair will work. It'll require a hard success.
That's not a yeah.
Ooh, I could.
You want to spend 14, or you could push, but then I will say we have a mechanical failure, and things could go wrong.
Hey, Clyde knows when it's a good opportunity to probably break his sanity somehow with this room.
So
what a better way than to spend 14 luck than to open a door.
Okay, you're gonna spend the 14 luck.
14 luck down. I'm not down to a 43 luck, and I will push it to a hard success.
Okay. Harmon, I'm gonna just sort of, a little player agency thing, but the acid thing comes back to mind, and like between the drill and the acid, you might be able to weaken the door enough that saves you the time. So you guys use the acid where you're gonna hit the drill. Use the teapot to get it directly on the spot, weakening it, and now eventually we'll have you guys start drilling through this door.
I don't have any other ideas on how to get into it.
All right. Purdy, you go out and you see the car has pulled up to a window, and I'm going to say maybe you get there just as Daisy's, scooting over the window and going into the building.
I'm gonna follow Daisy.
All right. So, Daisy, you could turn around and see Purdy has climbed up back onto the car and is going in with you.
It's just you. Oh, I won't shoot at you. Okay, I'm glad it's not somebody
I mean,
that.
you can if you really.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I don't think I know how to use one of these things anyway. Like, look, there's a lot of crates in here. I thought it might be a good idea to check it out.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Glad one of us is smart.
Actually, I have the highest intelligence of the group. I have an 8.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Awesome.
act smart, but I actually am intelligent.
Just
No,
remember,
you're-
the intelligence is
Absolutely.
the street smarts. Education is the book smarts.
Yeah.
So Daisy's very street smart,
Yes.
which just makes a lot of sense. She is.
So as you guys go through looking at these, you are looking at the crates. You see several of them are empty, but they have straw inside of them. They look like they're being prepared to be packaged. You see some crates look like there's supplies coming in. Like this is ore. This is the stuff that you need to run a foundry. But you do see a crate that says Honorable Ho Fang, which of course you've seen before.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The first part I didn't
To
recognize.
yes, the Honorable Ho Fang,
Mhm.
and you it is not completely buttoned up yet. The lid's on it, but it has not been nailed shut.
This one looks important, Purdy. I'm not sure I'd be able to get it open. I'm having trouble tonight, but I think we should definitely see what they're trying to send to the Honorable Fang.
Okay, let's go for it.
All right, it's not hard for Purdy to just open it up. Do you look inside?
Purdy probe would. I don't know why.
Okay, just because the last time you guys looked at a Ho Fang thing, there were sanity points lost. This time, no sanity loss. You see what looks to be a piece of machinery, sort of cobbled together. Not cobbled together. It's actually well engineered. Sorry, but to your mind, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It looks like a canister that might hold gas, and then a frame to hold that canister. There's a pressure gauge on it, and a couple of the tubes look like they would be hanging that way due to gravity, but they've clearly been molded in such a way, and it's not like when you see things happening. Like as you look at it, it why would anybody have this built this way? It's not a form thing, and it's definitely not a function thing. It's hard to know why these exhaust vents would move in the direction that they're moving. So, and it looks alien in a way. Not a sanity twisting kind of thing, because this is just chrome formed into a very odd configuration.
How big is it?
It's like Daisy made the right choice asking Purdy to open it, because it would be, your build, I would assume you're like 5'6", 5'8", 7-ish. It would be like at your collarbone kind of thing.
Oh.
So as you'd have to peek, but Purdy could easily like lift it up and look down on it. So it's about, with taking into account that it's sitting on packing straw, and I think it's probably 4 feet long, tall, and maybe 3 feet in, if you were to 3 feet in diameter. Let me check some things here. Okay. I think this is probably, I thought we might be getting to a point where it's a good time to maybe start wrapping up. So, why don't we do one final roll? And I am going to say for whether or not this drill works without causing an explosion. The drill works, it goes through. I am going to call for just a basic dexterity check from Clyde, I guess, since he's probably the one managing the mechanics of this.
Oh, nice, Clyde.
I moved away from my screen and didn't see what it was. Oh,
I may be packing, but I know what I'm doing.
all right. So the door gets drilled through, and you guys are able to open the safe. It is now around midnight. You guys have been at this for a couple hours, but fortunately, you guys were able to convince that farmer that it was just an accident, and then the car went away. And so we will pick up next time, which I think is going to be in July, right? June. Sorry,
In June.
Yep. So
Yeah.
we'll be on hiatus for the month of May. We'll come back with the safe being cracked and the contents of the warehouse being, or the big shed being determined, and we'll pick it up from there in 1 month's time. Thanks everybody for sticking with us. If you are not a bot and a person and you haven't followed, please consider following the stream because it helps us out to do a couple of things for long-term goals. Following's free, so if you can, please do. Otherwise, I think we're going to call it a night, unless there's, or a day, a night for Corey, a day for the rest of us. And otherwise, we're going to call it. Cool. All right. Bye, everybody.